being a smoker was no longer acceptable, was no longer normal. You were abnormal. You had to go outside to smoke. Well, being gay is now come in from the cold. And it was a very fast change, where now a majority, or not long ago, was a minority group. A minority of people who accepted that. And one report I heard about why it changed as fast as it did. Anyone guess what it was?
I know one of the things that the gay community did for themselves that was wonderful was when they started coming out. And everybody found out that their uncle and their next door neighbor and the guy who goes to the store was gay.
Will and Grace. No, but I think there's something about this. Will and Grace were in your living room and everyone watched it, it was funny, and then people made the connection to Uncle Bob who never got married. I mean, it was personal.
For a piece of floss.
And it was very quick. And to have not expected a reaction to the normalizing of the abnormal is as silly as not expecting a reaction from the cigarette industry of marginalizing something that was normal. So, I'm advocating patience, I guess. I'm certainly not saying anyone back down in these fights. But not to expect this is silly. This is the way things work. And it just will take time. And maybe, Will and Grace coming back.
Well, we seem to have several examples of Will and Grace along here right now. Will and Grace? Yeah. Sorry, I have a very bad memory for bad TV shows. Or any TV shows as far as that goes. So have the couples that have been living this for 37 years, got me beat by 5. Have you noticed this change then? You said they
I have a thought because I heard the word defensive, and I'm not sure that's what it is because, no, I'm certainly not surprised. I mean, they say set your clock back 20 years when you come to Utah. I was out more than 20 years ago in California, so I am not surprised at this reaction at all. But I don't think these books are defensive. I think they're descriptive. And I think that's an important distinction. I mean, we're living our lives. We're raising kids. We've raised kids. We've had long-term relationships. And I think it's not a matter of defenses. We've just got to be who we are. And Harvey Milk, actually, I think, started it when he said, come out wherever you are. And I do think that does make a difference. And I've been so inspired by what's happening within the LDS community here, and the people that marched in the Pride Parade. And, when I talk to people outside of Utah and they hear about, the work we've been trying to do with outreach and in the church and everywhere, I tell them that the LDS church is going to come around because every LDS person in this state has a gay relative because they have large families. It's just the math. Do the math. If you've got only 2 kids for generations, you may not have a gay relative. If you've got 8, 10, you do. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean that anyone was being defensive. I can see how it appears to be advocated. And that's a strong description of something else that's going on, which is, and I think you asked, normal. But even normal is seen as advocated. But there is something, and the sense I was trying to get to is the generativity. We're here because we're worried about kids. And the mother who picked up the phone and said, I'm appalled at this book, is defending her kid. I think we're here defending our kids. And there's a foundation for some commonality there. Right? And that's all I mean.
Now, speaking of people with kids, can I pick on you guys and see, do you have any thoughts on this at this stage of the game? You got a large blended family here in several respects.
Well, when I first heard of this story on the radio, on my way to work, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, those poor kids in that school who have two moms or two dads. And I thought to myself, how do they feel in this situation where the 3 books out of 1,000 or several thousand books represent them? If it's such a bad book, it has to be behind the counter, and you have to have a permission slip signed by a parent to look at that book. I worry.
Do you think any kids will get that book under that circumstance?
No.
Asking for trouble, these kids, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Either they don't know that the book is there and they won't happen across it, but it keeps the kids with gay families from being able to see those books, but also keeps kids from heterosexual families from seeing those books and having their worldview expanded. And I just think it's a loss for everybody.
She said it well.
Go.
I think this is kind of along the same line, because we're talking about defending our kids. And I think we need to give our kids a lot more credit than what we do. Rob and I participate in a program at Dillon School called Watchdogs. I don't know if any of y'all's kids have it. DOG stands for Dads of Great Students. And is what they ask is that dads take a day off work and they come and they spend a day at school and they give you this roster and you get to spend part of the time with your own kid. But you're bounced around working in the school. When I did it, I made me very thankful. I was a high school teacher, not an elementary teacher. And but it was a cool experience. And I got to tell you, the other thing is do playground in elementary school because you can slam dunk. It was really fun. But as we're going out to lunch recess with Dylan and some of his classmates, one of his classmates said, "So is that your grandpa?" And Dylan said, "No, it's my dad." Well, then who was that other guy that volunteered a few weeks ago? Oh, he was my dad too. Well, that doesn't make sense. I can't remember exactly. And Dylan responded, "Well, I have 2 dads."